Evening, friends. Good evening and welcome one and all to Littleport Christian Spiritualists. And welcome, of course, everyone live on Facebook and YouTube, both now and in the future. So everyone remember, cool, I really am out of breath after that. Remember, we are live. Please do not swear very much. And of course, we have got a lot of introductions and a lot of thank yous so far. We've got our camera person who's making sure that if John does wander off in that direction, the camera follows him, but not onto you guys, of course. And we've got a deputising trainee technical director tonight in the form of Samantha, who is being supervised very, very closely by Hannah, making sure that everything's working. And of course, thank you all for coming and supporting what we do here, week in, week out, proving life eternal, uplifting the universe, and generally making a prat of myself. Because let's be honest, that's what I do. But of course, we've got a proper warming Littleport welcome to give first, my friends. Our medium for this evening, a very, very good friend personally and of this church. Give it up for John Ennis! And it would, of course, be remiss of me to not say good evening and welcome to his friends and helpers and guides who are looking after his work tonight. And all of your friends and relatives and guides and helpers wandering around the hall, filling the hall with thousands of spirit people. Don't get too nervous. He's got a lot to get through and weed out and make sure that the right people come through him and his helpers, but I'm sure they will be absolutely, as always, perfectly fine. But we know that the world of spirit is always with us, watching over us, looking after us, giving us joy and upliftment and love. So let's say thank you for that by opening in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under your banner of love and hope and friendship, to unite under that need to find proof and truth that life is eternal. As we place this service in your care and keeping, Great Spirit, we ask that the veil be lifted and that all those that we know, all those that we love, and all those that we thought we had lost can come forward and prove that there is life eternal, that we are a race of beings that can go on unconditionally, and that eternal and unconditional love is the driving force of the universe, whether we believe it or not. And so as I place this service in your care and keeping, we make the statement as ever, that everything we do is in the name of love, in the name of truth, and in the name of light. Amen. Amen. Well, friends, now is the time in our service when Nick usually gets on his soapbox, his high horse, his heckles up and has a bit of a rant about what's wound him up this week. But we're not going to do that. Now is the time when I bring forth some flowery words and give philosophy about the world of spirit. We're kind of going to do that. But what we're not going to do is be flowery. What we're not going to do is give words that are all sweet and innocent and floaty and mean nothing. Because the most important thing about philosophy is that it has some useful purpose and actually means something to someone. We all know that 9 times out of 10, not everyone in the hall is going to get a message. We certainly know all of our friends who are sitting watching at home who couldn't make it because they're poorly, because they're still isolating, or I don't know, they're about 5,500 miles away. We know that they're not going to get a message tonight. But they are, because that's what the philosophy side of our way of life is. The philosophy is spirit telling us what we need to know, what we need to hear. Because if you think philosophy doesn't come into messages, you obviously haven't heard the final part. After the evidence has been given, after the identity has been confirmed, after we fully understand that that person coming through is the person that they say they are, after we understand that that person coming through is the person that we recognize and remember and love, what comes next? Words of kindness, words of upliftment, words of wisdom, words of guidance. Sometimes a lecture about how buttery the knives are that you left on the sink before you came out and that you really do need to close your curtains a bit better. That kind of stuff does come through too. But it's all about guidance. It's all about upliftment. It's all about the point of spiritualism. You see, my friends, without those wise words that come through from Spirit, what's the point? It's nice to know that that individual who was that tall and that wide and had a motherly feeling and would always bounce you up and down on your knee and sing you Amazing Grace as a child, we all know that that's great and that's wonderful. But that's not who they really are. It's the stories that they would tell, the songs that they would sing, the advice that they would give. Even if, let's be honest, some of them that come through really do give duff advice. We all know someone up there who was always thinking they were very, very good at giving advice. And frankly, we knew they weren't. Would we listen to them then? No. Do we listen to them now? Probably not. But their perspective has changed and they recognize that, but they still need to identify that personality, because it's the personality that we remember. It's the personality that we miss. It's the personality that makes us who we are. So for me, there's always philosophy in a message, because those words of kindness, those words of support, and occasionally those words of apology all make up the parts of us that we can recognize. So they are evidential, but they are also philosophy. Philosophy is at the core of everything we do in our lives, whether it's spiritualist, whether it's not spiritualist, whether it's religious or atheist or anything. We all have a philosophy in life. And that's really quite important. But what about when your philosophy interferes with... You knew I was not going to be able to keep away from it, weren't you? What if our philosophy interferes with someone else's? What if our philosophy differs to someone else's? What if our philosophy is completely counter to what someone else's is? Well, we could have a good old row about it. Or we could just simply agree to disagree and get on with our lives and put on TikTok and watch all the dancing cats and the shirtless men. So if anyone is on TikTok, please follow me and add me so that I can get back onto that side of TikTok. Because it can be a very grumpy place sometimes. Bit like the world, really, because the truth is, my friends, the world can be a grumpy place. We don't all agree with each other. If we did, what would be the point of existing? But I do know what unites. I do know what brings together. And it's not just singing and dancing cats or the shirtless men. It is laughter, upliftment, joy, a good joke. Tell you what, one thing you can find on the internet is some really good dad jokes, and I am loving them right now. There's an old saying that I've been using for years, and it's not so much an old saying, but a line from a pantomime. A song in a pantomime that I was in when I was a teenager. A song and a smile make it all worthwhile, so sing as you go along. Or to put it in the way that I did it back when I was a teenager, A song and a smile make it all worthwhile, so sing la, 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 as you go along. See, laughter. Everyone's happy, everyone's enjoying themselves. They might think my singing is absolutely rubbish. They might be pleased that they've gone deaf in one ear. They might think, what the point is this of spiritualism? But you know what? They're still smiling anyway, because it's a bit of a giggle and it's a bit of a laugh. That's the point of it within spiritualism. Laughter, upliftment, love, humour, good humour. I have not at any point ever taken myself so seriously that I will not make myself the butt of the joke just to see people sitting in this hall smiling. And if you think that ends as I walk out the door, you've obviously never bought petrol from me. And back when I worked in the bakery, you obviously never came in the bakery and bought a slice of rustic loaf. And bear in mind that I left there about 15 years ago. The reference number for a sliced rustic loaf was 7412. You'd print the label off, stick it on, and give it to the customer once you'd sliced it. I enjoyed doing that, providing some nourishment, but that wasn't enough for me. Which is why 3 consecutive store managers of the bakery at Tesco's in Ely referred to me as the operatic baker. Yes, they knew that if I was singing something that they didn't recognise, I was in a good mood. If they heard me singing Ness and Dorma, they kept well away. But they knew where I was, and that was what mattered. Because a laugh does more than just makes you feel good. It's infectious. And it lets everyone else know where you are. It lets everyone else know where the fun is. And as much as it's a grumpy old world, everyone gravitates to the humour. Everyone gravitates towards the laugh because it's infectious. That is the only infection this earth needs. Laughter, upliftment, joy, and a bit of a really, really pathetic joke. Now, my friends, does this have anything to do with spiritualism? The brotherhood and sisterhood of the human family is the second principle of Christian spiritualism. Now, I know families don't always get on. Me and my sister used to pull each other's hair out and strip the paint off the wall sometimes, but we still have a good giggle, because a family, in spite of its difficulties, will always learn to move forward in love, in laughter, and upliftment. We're the family of the human race. So let's all join together, live, love, laugh, be uplifted, have a giggle, take the mick out of people if they are happy with that. And if they ain't, just find me and take the mick out of me, I don't mind. But enjoy your life, because we all know that what's it in the pan will hit us sometime. But you know what? If we're walking bold and bright and brass and forward every single step of the way with a smile on our face, it will be a damn sight easier. Live, love, laugh, be happy, and God bless you all. Now, friends, is the time in our service when we invite Reverend Alan to give us an address. Not an address, sorry, I've just done that. To give us a reading. Now, we may be able to hear him. I'm going to try and make sure you can. Everyone at home will, but I know you will well because I've got the volume up. Reverend Alan, are you there?
I am.
We can hear you, hurrah!
Good.
Would you like to do your reading, good sir?
Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm still suffering from the 4 days holiday, which was actually 4 days of continuous boozing with my ex-army mates.
We have heard, yes.
However, tonight's reading is called Forgiveness, and it is by Bill Honeyveld. Forgiveness is a precious gift whose power is immense. It heals and mends fractured bonds. It straightens those who are bent. The force of love has fickle traits, whose balance is easily tilted. A word wrong said, a gesture made, can lead to feeling jilted. The closest ones can turn away, such pain can they inflict, and our efforts to make amends seems to make them sick. These burdens are all lifted by forgiveness being sent. The sender feels lighter too, no more anger being spent. It's not easy to forgive when we are hurt and sad. We need time to brew and stew to recover from something bad. Past events are just that. They are past and gone. It's now time to extend our hand and try to right what's wrong. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Alan. And you know, once again, I do love how it all ties in. We're going to have another reading after the mediumship tonight, so because I just want to put even more pressure on Sam. But Alan, thank you so much, and do watch that head of yours, mate. And as the old saying goes, take more water with it next time.
Oh no, that'll ruin it.
God bless you, mate. We'll see you soon. Well, friends, now is the time we send out our healing thoughts to all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort, in need of upliftment, in need of love. We begin that healing silence with the healing prayer, and then we have a little bit of music for 60 seconds as we send out our thoughts, and end with the word Amen. So let's join together and send out to all those in need as we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, here we bring unto you all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort, be they sick in mind, body, or spirit, that it may please thee to heal them. This we ask for those we know, those we do not know, and those who have no one to ask for them. We ask for them now. Amen.
Amen.
Well, friends, now is indeed the moment you have been waiting for. And I'm getting closer and closer to keeping it so short that we start at 8 o'clock now. I'm getting good at this. Yeah, the funny thing is, it used to be 10 past 8 and we started at 7:30. And now we start at 20 to 8 and it's dead on 8 o'clock, which I think is brilliant. And I know you're all grateful for the shortness of my intro. But now, friends, we hand over this service to a wonderful, wonderful medium and group of spirit.
Who's that?
Oh, we've got a different one this week. Ladies and gentlemen, Rev John Ennis! Give him your love, look after him, be nice. I will be watching.
Right, good evening, everybody. He keeps building me up. I keep saying I'm a bald, fat-bellied bloke. What do you want to come and see me for? Right, most of you will have seen me before, and things haven't changed. Sometimes I can be a little bit close to the wind, not in a bad way, but if your friends and relatives have got a sense of humour, I let that sense of humour come through, and that's what it's all about. Normally what I will say is that normally there won't be any swearing, so if I start to stutter or slow down, you know something's coming up. I'm having a lot of trouble at the minute with slang, because I'm getting people from all over the country and I ain't got the faintest idea what they're saying to me half the time. So I have to wait and get it sent through to me properly. So we'll just see what happens. Please, all I ask from you is just try and think outside of the box, because the people you would like to come through aren't necessarily the people that will come through. So we'll see what happens. Normally I know where I'm going. I'm going to upset Nick here now as well, because Nick says we don't give messages to people online. I can't help that. If somebody wants to come through, they'll come through, and there's nothing I can do about it. So we'll just see what happens.
And you know he will.
That was Nick, by the way, for anybody who's scared.
It's all right, they're Australian.
Right, so we'll get on with it and we'll see what happens. Where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? Oh, that's an awkward one. Okay, I'll go to her later. Right, can I go to the lady in the check shirt, please? As I'm with you, there's a queuing up for you now. I only had 2 of them. I've got about 4 or 5 of them here now, all barging in, all wanting to have a chat to you. I know I've got 2 gentlemen here, but the gentlemen are stepping aside because they're helping a lady come forward for you. And the reason I say they're helping this lady, I know she had some mobility problems just before her passing. But this lady does come through with a great deal of love and a great deal of upliftment for you. It may be that you don't understand who this lady is, but this lady does know you. We're on Dad's side of the family, not Mum's side of the family. But this lady is coming through with a lot of love and a lot of strength and a lot of support for you. She's also saying as well, will you stop doubting yourself? I don't know what's going on around you, and I don't need to know, but she's telling me you've made the right choices and you're making the right decisions. So she says, keep looking forward and don't keep apologising. She says, you've got nothing to apologise for. She says, stay strong and stay focused. The other lady who comes in is about 5'4", 5'5", quite a cuddly lady, she's telling me. She's got short, curly hair as well, which, oh God, that's not fun. It's all right, she's just been to the hairdressers. So I can smell the hairspray on her hair. Because she's telling me it's great up here. She says, you don't need to have money, so I can go to the hairdressers whenever I want. Because I know money for her down here at times was very tight. And having her hair done was a luxury. Which she's saying that the girls always looked after her. The girls always looked after her. I says, what do you mean? She says, well, they'd wash my hair. They weren't very good at anything else. She says, but I'd let them wash my hair for me. And this lady's coming in and she's very, very busy around you. And she's like the first lady. She's going, come on, you're my girl, you're my girl. She says, don't stand for it. Come on, get on with it. She says, you know what you want to do, you know where you want to be, you know what. Oh, right. If people need put in the place, you say, put them in the place. She says, don't tiptoe, get on with it. Oh, okay. She says, be a little bit more like me, give it with both barrels and then suffer the consequences afterwards. She says, but then again, she says, I was like a man, it went in one ear and out the other. She says, so it didn't bother me. Not like you take everything to heart. So she says, no, none of that. She says, come on, get on with it, get on with it. I'm going to let the first gentleman come in. As the first gentleman comes in, he's not quite as tall as me. He's quite stockily built as he comes in. I do feel with this gentleman that he did work very hard throughout his life. He's always telling me he didn't always have a lot of money in his pocket, but he's saying he had the love of the family, and that's all that he needed. He's also telling me as well that he had a very large group of large group of acquaintances and a smaller group of friends. And he says, yes, he's on about, most of them are upstairs now. He says, and we do have a good old time. He's on about snooker. I don't know if he played snooker or if he liked watching snooker, but he's on about snooker. So I don't know where that fits in, but he's just saying snooker. So it must mean something to him or to somebody in the family because he's on about snooker. And I'm asking him if it means something else. He says, no, just snooker. So I says, oh, okay. The second gentleman, as he comes in, he's a little bit taller than me, very similar in build to me as well. I have got problems in the stomach area with this gentleman as he comes in. Also with this gentleman as well, he's saying, I wasn't that clever. He says, but I always had a knack of saying the right thing at the right time. But he's saying he wasn't always there to give the people the support that they needed. But he's saying that the ladies in the family were very strong people. And he's just, oh, okay, right. He's just saying the ladies always used to say that the men made the house look untidy. He's saying we're all right while we're out at work and we're all right if we brought the money in. But, you know, it was different if we were there all the time. But they're all coming in around you and they are giving you a lot of strength and a lot of support. I don't know if you've got a daughter or not, but they're on about a daughter around you and they're saying that she's a law unto herself and that she does what... I always end up in trouble, don't I? Yeah, she's a law unto herself and she just does what she wants to do and she doesn't bother about anybody else half the time. But I do have to say that she loves you to bits, but she won't always say it. But she does love you to bits. And she's saying, see, oh, I'll go to a minute. They're saying, although she's made you proud already, she'll make you prouder in the future. And I will come to you in a minute. But the two gentlemen and the two ladies, I do need to say are coming through with a lot of love and a lot of strength and a lot of support for you. And I'll leave all that with you. Well, we're still here, and the second gentleman who come through is still here, and he's coming in around you, and he's saying, focus, focus. He's saying, you get distracted at times very easily, but he says you can be too focused at times. He says it's like tunnel vision. You can see where you want to go. He says, but you miss a lot of opportunities either side. He's also saying as well, I don't know, well, okay. He's saying he doesn't want to put any pressure on you, but he's saying if you get the books back out again, he says you can achieve what you want to achieve. So I don't know if you're thinking about a different choice in careers or something for the future. But he's saying, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Equally as important, he says, you've got a good support network around you. And he says, they will support you. I know what you message your mum's had, but your mum will always be there for you. So the second lady who come through is coming back and she's coming in and just putting her arms around you. But I'm feeling quite emotional with this lady. I feel quite tearful with her as she comes through around you. She's on about a child in the spirit world. Now, I don't know if this child would have been with you or with your mum, you, because she's on about this child in the spirit world, which is growing up normally, and but she's saying this child must be around. You related to these two ladies?
Yeah, that's normal.
Because you just said this child's around the three ladies, and I thought, when you're talking to two, because they're saying this child's around all three ladies. Normally, when you're feeling a little bit down or a little bit out of it, this little child comes in and moves things around or makes funny noises. What's up with you as well?
No, she's not great.
Oh, she's heard the funny noises then. Right, so I've just got this child making funny noises around you. But no, this lady's coming in, and she comes with so much love for you and so much strength. I've got to say though, you may not look it on the outside, but on the inside you're very, very similar in your outlook on life. In respect of, you know what you want and you'll go for it. But at the same time, you'd like to have people around you to give you that bit of support. But also, as well as saying, okay, the people who are around you now, you can trust, the saying. So I don't know if you've had issues with trust in the past, but saying the people around you now, you can trust. You've got a very, very tight network around you. And you've got some very, very supportive friends as well. So there is a lot of love and a lot of strength and a lot of support coming to you. I'm going to leave all that with you. I better go to the lady on them, because I've already spoken to the other two. So as I'm coming to you, I've got two ladies in the spirit world. Now the first one that comes through, I've got a very, very motherly link with this lady. I don't know if it's mother or grandmother. Yeah, because she showers you with a lot of love, and she's telling me to say we were as thick as stones. And she's saying you kept her young, not only in body but in mind as well. And she's saying she misses you as much as you miss her. She says, but the thing is, she sees you every day. You can't see her. But you know when she's there. And she says she values the conversations that we have together. And she says she will make sure that no harm comes to you. And she says, as much as she doted on you while she was here, she says she's never stopped, even when she's gone over there. She says she still looks out for you. The other lady who comes through, I've got to say, facially wise, you are very, very similar. I've got to say with this lady, she's a very single-minded lady. Yeah, straight down the middle, no ifs, buts, maybes. I've got to say with this lady, she's not comical, but what she's saying is, she's saying, we can't give you a handbook. So her mother was a mother, and more a mother than a grandmother to you. She says, I was supposed to be a mother, but I didn't know how to be a mother. And she says, if I was here today, she said, I'd be a great school teacher, or I'd be a great bank manager. She said, but put children around me. She said, oh no. And the barriers go up. But what she is saying as well is, okay, well, as much as she tried in her later years to show love and support, she says, I always seem to say the wrong thing and push them further away instead of bringing them in. So she's saying, now that I'm over here, she says, I can't push them away and they can't push me away. She says, but I can say that I did love you really, but I just didn't know how to show it. And she's also saying as well that in a strange way, you keep her memory alive by talking about it. And she values that a great deal. Well, okay. She's telling me also that before she passed away, you were the one that was always there. But you didn't judge. You weren't there.
No, I moved up this end and she further afield.
Right.
So,
but would it be then
when she passed away, I was out on the field, take a picture.
But it must be then what she's on about is that you always kept her in your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says, and she respects you for that. And there is a lot of respect for you. There is a gentleman who comes in now as this gentleman comes in, I'm going to say he's a bit taller than me, stood up straight. But I do feel life took its toll on him, because I just feel I'm bent over ever so slightly with him. And he comes up, right, where am I'm on Mum's side again. I'm not getting a fatherly link. I'm on Mum's side, so it'd be an uncle. Yeah. But this gentleman's just coming in because what he's telling me is, he said, I've come in, he says, just to lift your spirits. He said, and to take away those aches and pains for you. Because he says, bloody aches and pains. He says, you're the wrong side of 25 now, so you've got to take your time a little bit more. And he says, you do need to slow down a little bit. He says, the battery's not going to run out, you know. He says, you've still got a lot of living to do yet, you know. And you do have a lot of living to do. There is another gentleman who's coming in, he's a little bit shorter than me, he's quite rounded in the body, and he's quite rounded in the face. But I do see his face is sort of a tan colour. So I'm going to say it's a gentleman who works outside most of his life. A very, very down-to-earth type man. And he's just saying, oh, okay, as much as you're like your grandmother, you're very much like your father. No, he's saying, in respect of a day's hard work never hurt anybody. He says, for every 1 day's hard work, he says, more people respect you for it. And I do feel with this gentleman, he always stood on his own 2 feet. Doesn't like asking for help. I know in later years he got a bit cantankerous, but he's saying that was out of frustration more than anything else. And he does come with a great deal of love. And there is a lot of love. And I've got to say, you two were very, very close. Yeah, very, very close. Because he's telling me, I've got to tell you, he said, I've still got my pockets full of your little treats. So I know he would have pockets of sweeties and a little, oh right, you must be a good girl as well, because I've got some of them apples that you like. You understand that, don't you? Yeah, I was going to say, because he said, yeah, because that's what he said. He says, I didn't buy them. She knows where they come from. Yeah. So he says, I've got some of your favourite apples as well. He says, and they're still as fresh as the day they were picked. But he, as I say, there's so much love to you from this gentleman. The second lady, yes, there's a lot of love, which she just stood back a little bit. But the first lady, she just comes in and wraps her arms around you. And she just goes, that's my girl. That's my girl. So a great deal of love, strength and support, and I'll leave all that with you. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, that was heavy. Right. Can I go to the gentleman here, sir, please? Yeah. Right. As I'm with you, I have got a gentleman, but I've got a lady coming through as well. Now, as this lady comes through, I'm being told a grandmother. She's telling me grandmother. Which side of the family, I don't know. But this lady just comes in as bold as brass. And she's telling me, what you see is what you get. She says, and I've not changed. Yeah. And she says, I don't take prisoners. No. And nobody slags my family off, and nobody talks about my family. And if anybody talks about me behind my back and I find out, she says, they get a good clip round the ear on. Yeah. I'm being quite polite when she says a clip round the ear on. Yes. Something about smashing somebody's face in or something she's on about. I wouldn't be surprised, yes. Yes. But as this lady's coming in, she's going, yes, it is me that's been trying to talk to you, and you keep shutting the door on me. Okay. She says, and if you listen, she says, it is her that tries to talk to you in your dreams, because she says it's the only time she can get through to you now, because it's as if when you're sitting there and your mind starts wandering. She says, I used to come in and try and talk to you. She says, but you weren't taking any notice of me. So she's trying to come to you in your dreams. But the reason she's here tonight, she's saying, you've taken little steps. She says, now it's time for big strides. Mm-hmm. And she says, yes, you can do it, and yes, you will do it. And I'm asking what she's on about, and she's saying on his earthly side and on his spiritual side. She says, you put your mind to something now, she says, you can achieve it. She says, and you go for it, and go for it in a big way. She's also saying to say to you as well that, okay, what she's saying is she's saying that the people around you, yes, they're supportive, but they don't all realise what you do. So she's saying it's up to you if you tell them or not. But you'll be quite surprised who will be supportive and who won't be supportive. Okay. But as I say, as this lady comes in, she is coming in with a lot of love and a lot of strength for you. There is another lady, I can see her in the background. I'm just waiting to see if she'll come forward a little bit. She's only about 5'3", 5'4", quite a rounded lady. My feet are starting to swell up, so I'm going to say I had problems with my feet and my lower legs. Oh God, blimey. She's very softly spoken, but she's saying she could raise her voice if she needed to. She's also telling me that she had to be a mother, a grandmother, a cook, a baker, a washer-upper, a coal man. She says, and then had to be a mother on top of that as well. Yeah. But she didn't complain. She said, I would have complained, but nobody had listened anyway. She says, so I just got on with it. She says, and at the minute, you're getting on with it. And, all right, you're very much like her. There's no point in complaining because nobody will listen anyway. Because everybody's too wrapped up in their own lives. But she's saying, there's new challenges coming for you. She says, but you'll take them in your stride. And she says, it's just all about you now looking to the future. She says, you have got a good future ahead. I'm asking if she'll enlighten me. She's saying no, but she's just on about a good future ahead for you. There is a gentleman who comes in now. Now, as this gentleman comes in, he's quite stockily built. He's a little bit taller than me. He's got a little bit of hair on the top, but not a great deal. He's got a bit round the side. I'm going to say his hair would have been dark purely because I can see the flecks of grey in it. He's a little bit rough and rugged around the face area. But he's saying, well, I had a hard life, boy. I had a hard life. But I've got to say with this gentleman, I do feel he worked hard and he played hard. He's saying in his younger days. But I want to say in later years, he was still a bit of a character. He still liked to laugh and he still liked to joke. He's also telling me that he liked the odd pint as well. I'm going, really? He's gone, well, a little bit more. He said, but he would say the odd pint. And he'd also say the chaser with it. He's also telling me as well that he likes to play cards. He says he played cards at home for matchsticks, but he used to play proper cards. I don't know if it's up in the pub or in a school, but he's on about playing cards. Oh, okay, I don't know how to play it. He's just telling me he used to play poker. Okay, he's on about playing snap with you, and he tried to teach you other games, but he couldn't work it out. But no, he just comes in, and he's coming in with a lot of strength. I'm getting problems in the back. Now, I don't know if you've got problems with your back, or if it's him with his back. But if it's you with your back, he's saying it's nothing major, but he's saying, will you be more careful the way you pick things up? He says, you tell everybody else to bend your knees. He says, but you don't. You just pick it up and away you go. So he's saying, be careful what you do and how you do it. But he's very, very proud of you. And he does come through with a great deal of strength, a great deal of upliftment for you. And I'm going to leave the ladies' love and his strength and support and say thank you very much. Can I go to the lady over there, please? As I'm with you, I've had two ladies and they keep popping in and out. And I'm going, do you want to talk to her or not? And they're going, well, I don't know if we can. But they're both coming together now. And they're stood either side of you, but they're both coming in with so much love for you. But also as well, they're trying to push you in the back. They're saying, come on, you know what you want to do? It's as if you keep dipping your toe in the water And oh, maybe not this year, maybe next year. And then next year comes and oh, I'll leave it till the year after. So both the ladies are saying, no, come on, get on with it, get on with it. They're saying, you can see everybody else moving forward and you've been treading water for the last 2 or 3 years. So they're saying, come on, get on with it, get on with it. What the two ladies are telling me is, you've never been lacking in confidence in the past. But as please take this the right way, as you've grown up and matured in here, she says you've become a little bit more reserved and you have to balance everything out. But the only trouble is you always get more negatives than you do positives. And she said, no, stop it. Bin the negatives and go for the positives. She says, it's about you now going for it and go for it in a big way. We're both pathways, but mainly your earthly pathway. She says, you keep wanting these changes, you keep talking about these changes, but they can't happen until you set that ball rolling. Once you set the ball rolling, there'll be no stopping. And she's saying, okay, you're a lady who likes familiarity around you. And this is if you put your life in a baggie, you've chucked it over your shoulder and going, right, let's see what the new life brings. Because it can't be as bad as the old one. She says, it won't be, but it's up to you. They can help, but you have to be the one that puts the key in the lock and says, yes, we're going to go. And they're saying, you will do it, you will do it. There is a gentleman who comes in. Now, as this gentleman comes in, I'm not taking the mickey out of him, it's the way he's making me stand. I'm going to say he's my height, maybe a little bit taller. He's quite muscular as I see him, but that's in his younger days. But please take this the right way. It's as if he's got no neck. It's as if his head's just dropped on his shoulders because they're making my shoulders come up. A very knowledgeable man, but a very hard-working man at the same time. And he comes in around you and he's saying, I'm always beside you. I will give you that strength. I will give you that support. She says, all you've got to do is ask. But he wants you to know, he knows you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. And he says, you will achieve it. And he's really, really proud of you. He's also telling me as well, he's a little bit annoyed because at times you have to rely on your friends more than your family for support. Yes. He's saying there's nothing wrong with that, but he says other people should be there supporting you and helping you as well. But he's saying the friends that you've got, he says they will support you. And yes, you value their friendship, and yes, you also value their opinions. He says, but they'll only ever tell you the truth. They're not going to dress it up for you and say it's going to be good when it's not. If they think it's going to be bad or the wrong thing, they'll tell you. But then it's your choice, and it's your decisions to make. But the gentleman's saying, he's saying you will make the right choices. He says he believes in you. You've just got to believe in you. Okay, right. What he's telling me is there's nothing wrong with how you see somebody and think how somebody is. So if you think, oh, they're kind and they're trustworthy and everything else, and later on down the line, something happens, you blame yourself. He says, no, it's not you. He says, it's them that's changed. Your initial opinion of them was right. You can't help it if somebody else interferes in their life and changes their personality. So he says, never doubt yourself and never question the decisions and the choices that you make. He says, you've always been right. He says, you've always been a very good judge of character. He says, and you'll carry on being a good judge of character. You can't help other people changing. That's not your fault. So don't doubt yourself, because it's as if there's been people in the past who've changed, but you've questioned yourself. He said, no, don't. He says, you were right. They've changed, not you. And you can't control other people's lives. You can only control your own life. There is another gentleman who comes in, a little bit shorter than me, quite a slender gentleman as I see him. I have got a tightness in the chest with this gentleman as well. So I know I've got some sort of breathing problems with him. He's telling me as well that it upset a lot of people that he passed the spirit very quickly. But he's saying he was glad he did, because he didn't want to be dragging on and people backwards and forwards like yo-yos. Because I do feel with this gentleman, he didn't like inconveniencing other people. Because he says everybody's got their own life to live. So, but he is aware that there was a lot of upset and there was a lot of words said after he passed the spirit. But he's saying, hey, that's life. He says, I couldn't dot all the I's and cross all the T's. He did have some things in place, but not everything. And he's coming in around you because he's saying, over the last 2 years, you shouldn't have been put in the position you were, where you had to make certain choices and certain decisions. He says, but he wants to reaffirm you made the right choices and you made the right decisions. And he says he's got every faith that you will make the right choices now as you move forward. So much so, he's given me 2 keys to give to you. The first key is all for new beginnings and moving on. And the second key is for a new property. Now, this is your choice, and I know it's a scary thing, but this is all part of your new beginnings. It may be you get what you want, but you may have to move. Not immediately. It may be you find the commute is too much, or, you get fed up of it. So he's saying the opportunity will be there to relocate, but that will be I'm not saying you will, because it's a choice. They're not insisting on moving. It's a choice, and it will depend on your new, they're saying working environment, but it will depend on that environment and your friends, your new circle of friends that you're going to be getting. So he's saying everything's in your hands. Oh, okay. Most importantly, you're in control. Nobody else is driving the ship. You're driving it. So you're in control, and it's all now about you looking to the future and moving on. But from the gentleman, a lot of strength, and they just want to say they believe in you and they trust in you and they know you will make the right choices. The ladies, a lot of love and a lot of strength for you and a little bit of guidance, but they're the ones that's pushing, because they're saying you've waited long enough. You've got to get rid of the negative and just look at the positive. And I'll leave all that with you and say thank you very much. Come to Barbara, please. Hello. As I'm with you, I want to bring a lady forward for you. Now, as this lady comes in, I'm going on a motherly vibration. Now, I don't know if it's mother or grandmother. I'm more inclined to say grandmother, purely because she's saying we're 2 peas out of the same pot. And she does come in with a lot of love for you and a lot of strength for you. She's saying the last 2 years have been very hard for you. You've lost a lot of good people to spirit. You've also lost a lot of friends as well. But the last, like everybody else, the last 2 years has been hard. But they've been really hard on you because you're very much a people person. She says, but you've kept in contact with as many people as you can. And she said, now that is paying benefits. She says, as well, you're finding it a little bit embarrassing at the moment because you didn't realise just how much others think of you. She said, but now it's all coming out. No, don't be silly, don't be silly. And she's going, no, everything needs to be said and everything needs to be out in the open. But she says, no, you're doing all the right things. I just want to bring this gentleman in now, and as this gentleman comes in, he just comes in with so much love. And there is a great deal of love for you. He's saying to say to you, yes, he's been around you the last 4 or 5 weeks, but prior to that, he's saying, I've been looking after the daughter, but she's been, oh, really? She's been up and down a little bit. And she only tells you what she wants you to hear. So you have to read between the lines and listen to the bits that she's not telling you. But he's saying everything is ticking over nicely. He's on about the little one. He's saying, you may need to impart some words of wisdom. It's as if she's got so many things going through her head at the minute about what she wants to do and where she wants to go. But he's saying she keeps coming back to the same thing. So it may be just a case of, if you keep coming back to it, that's what you've got to look at. But draw a list up of the others, and then she can knock them off one at a time if she doesn't feel that way at all. But he is, as I say, he does come through with a lot of love and support for you. He's on about a birthday, so I don't know if there's a birthday or an anniversary in the last 2 weeks.
His birthday's coming up.
Is it? Oh, because he's on about a birthday, because he's going, he was terrible at dates.
Oh, absolutely.
But he says, I remember this one. So he says, yeah, he says, I remember this one, so he's coming through. Maybe, right, so it's her anniversary. But he's just saying he's getting better at the dates. He doesn't have anybody digging him in the ribs nowadays. He says he can stand on his own 2 feet. He's also saying to say to you that your sister sends her love. And he says to tell you that she is doing really well, and she has met up with some of her old sparring partners. He says that's why she's not here tonight, because she's out partying. He says he's just on about she's rewound the clock. So she's sort of mid-20s, and he says she's living life to the full up there. He says she's making up for lost time.
Oh, I bet she is.
But he says she does send her love to you. And she says, thank you for the thoughts that you keep sending her. She says she does hear them, and she thanks you very much for it. And she does, as I say, she does come through with, he says, she will be through to you in the next week or so.
Right.
I don't know if you're looking for guidance or if you've been asking a question, but she's got the answer for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she's got the answer for you. And she said, he's just saying everything will be all right.
Okay.
Everything will be all right. He's also saying as well that lots of new beginnings for you. He says, and they will all come to fruition for you. He says you've been very patient over the last 2 to 3 years. He says, but that's about to pay dividends. So he says it's just about now looking forwards. And the more you look forwards, the easier it will be. Okay, right. He's saying as well, and I may have given you this a long time ago, I don't know. He's saying a house is a house. So he says, don't use memories to stop you progressing. He says, a house is a house. He says, as long as you've got a head and a heart, he says, you've always got your memories. He says, and that's what's important. He says, sometimes people forget that. So he sends you so much love. And there is so much love. The lady comes back in, she says you wouldn't get your ears sorted out.
Yeah.
But she says somebody wants the ears boxing.
Yes, she would have done that.
Yeah, she says somebody wants the ears boxing. She's also saying, no, she'll hit me if I tell her that. Okay. She's saying, when you're working, you may need to wear your flats for a couple of weeks. Because she says your back may start to play with it. So she's saying you may have to go back to your flats for a couple of weeks. She says, and that will sort the back problem out for you. So from her, there is a lot of love and a lot of strength. And she's laughing her head off now. She said, she never took the blind bit of notice of me when I was down here. So she said, she won't take the blind bit of notice of me now that I'm up there. But she's passing on the information. So it's up to you whether you use it or not. And I'll leave it all that with you.
About 15 minutes, mate.
Huh?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Right, just about it.
You don't have to use it if you don't want to.
Huh?
You don't have to use it if you don't want to.
Right. I'll come to you. I know you've mentioned an anniversary. I know the lady is here and the lady does come in with a great deal of love for you. And she says, thank you for talking to me. She's also saying, hooray, hooray. She says, the millstone around your neck's gone. She says, about time and all. She says, the thing is now, I've got to put this right. The thing is now, you can move forward. You know what the limitations are. And you know what you can do, so you've still got money in the bank. And she says, yes, you'll succeed. She's telling me also, she's on about her daughter. She says, she's a law unto herself. She says, but everything will be all right. I've got to say, what she's saying about the daughter is the corner's been turned. Okay, I'm asking what she means. She's, right, okay. I presume she's on about planning because she's showing me drawings for houses. And I'm going, well, what's that got to do with her? She's going, no, where it's got to go. So she's on about planning. So whatever your daughter's been planning, it's been sorted out and now it's all about moving on. So they're saying, yes, that'll be all right. But she's going, don't be a soft touch. Keep saying no, not yes all the time. Keep saying no. But she says, there's a lot to look forward to. Okay, it's all right. I have to make sure I've got the right bloke. Right. His eau de cologne, aftershave, deodorant is a hint of engine oil and a little bit of diesel and black hands. He says, I've been in the bath, I've been in the shower. He says, I've soaked them in the sink. He says, the only thing I've not put on them's acid. He says, they're still black. He says, but hey ho, that's my life. But he's telling me, he's saying, he's changed his last fan belt and he's changed his last spark plug. He says, because I ain't got the faintest idea about these new things. He says, you've got to put computers in and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. He says, I can't do that anymore. But he's coming in because what he's saying for you is he's saying there's been a lot of change. He says, but the change has been for the better, not for the worse. He says, what's happened in the past has happened in the past. He says, now it's it. Wipe the slate, clean slate, off we go. And he says, off we will go. He's also saying that right, on your spiritual side, he says, your healing is going to be needed more over the next year than it has been for a long time. He says, but okay. He's saying, sometimes you think you don't always have the energy. He says, but you will have the energy. He says, because when it's needed and properly needed, he says, you'll be given that strength to do it. But also you'll have the strength to carry on with your daily life as well. So there is a lot of upliftment coming your way, but there's also a lot of strength from this gentleman. This gentleman wants you to know also that he's very, very proud of you. Because he says, although you're very single-minded, he says, you look after the people that's closest to you. He says, and that's all that matters. So from him, a lot of strength. As I say, from the lady, a lot of love. She's saying, she will tell you, but you won't take a blind bit of notice. But she said, I'll tell him every year not to bother with flowers and presents, she says. But he don't take a blind bit of notice. She says, he'll still buy me something because he always does. But she says, it's totally up to you. She says she knows you'll send the thought out and she'll return the thought also. And she's just sending down for you a single red rose with love and a lot of affection. And I'm going to leave all that with you and say thank you very much. Can I go to the gentleman there, sir, please? As I'm with you, sir, I've got a gentleman coming in. Now, as this gentleman comes in, I'm being made to stand very upright with him. And I do feel this gentleman's a tallish man. I'm not quite on my tiptoes, so I'm going to say about 5'10", maybe 5'11". A little bit slimmer than me. He's a gentleman who very much knew his own mind, and he didn't like being made a fool of, he's telling me. And he says, you're like that. If somebody's got something to say, you'd rather they say it to your face than behind your back. And he says, there's nothing wrong with that. He says, the thing is with you as well, sir, he says, the friends that you've got value your friendship immensely, purely because they know you will always speak the truth. And if something's annoying you, you'll tell them it's annoying you. And he says, that's the best way to be. He's laughing his head off, he's going, well, family's family. He says, if they can't take it, it's their loss, not yours. He says, but don't you ever change. He says, you stick to who you are. And he says, you've got so much going for you. He's also a little bit jealous of you, sir, because he says, how the heck have you got all that hair at your age? He says, when I had nothing. He's going, I was virtually bald from 18. He says, how the heck have you got all that lot? But I must say with this gentleman, when he gets going, he's quite a character. Because he does feel quite, oh, right, you're a bit like that as well, aren't you? When you get going, you're a bit of a character. He says, whatever you do, don't give him a shamble, he says, because he won't shut up. So, but, yeah, he's just saying, sir, that there is more opportunities coming your way. So he says, go for it. Go for it. Now, I don't know if you run your own business or if you're doing something, but what he's saying is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Always keep a bit back. But he's saying, you need to be looking further ahead than you are. So it's as if you look 3 or 4 months ahead. He's saying, no, you need to be looking 6 or 12 months ahead. Keep ahead of everybody else. He says, because moods change and life changes. So he says, just keep ahead of everybody else. Don't get me wrong, nothing's going to happen or anything like that. He says, because it's ticking along nicely. Or in fact, it can be too busy for you at times, he says. Because you just want to sit down and put your feet up. And then ding, 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 ding. The bell's going or your phone's going. Oh, heck, here we go again. So he's going, okay, what he's saying is, sir, you need to make a bit more time for you. It can't be work all the time and no play. So he says you need to make a bit more time for you. But a lot of strength and a lot of upliftment coming to you. And I'll leave all that one with you, sir. I'm trying to get through everybody. Can I go to the lady there, please? I've got a lady, she's been stuck behind you all night, bless her. Quite a patient lady. Oh, okay, right, she's not a patient lady. She's only been patient because it's tonight. And it's me. She says, in life I wasn't patient. If she got something in her head, it had to be done yesterday, not tomorrow. Well, you're a bit like that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Get something in your head, it's got to be done straight away. Well, guess what? Other people don't work as fast as you do. So you've got to bide your time. I don't know what it is you're waiting for, but they're saying you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Because not everybody works as... Oh, okay. It's all I know, because I was expecting something 2 months ago and it only turned up today. So they're saying you might have to bide your time a little bit longer. But she's saying... Oh, okay. She's saying that you are a very strong lady, you're a very determined lady, and you're a very single-minded lady. And she's saying you're a little bit like her, but you've got more patience than she has. So if you've got something on your chest and you want to get rid of it, or you want to put somebody in their place, you pick the right moment, where the lady in spirit would just give it and suffer the consequences afterwards. She says, but I still had some friends. Not many, she says, but I still had some friends. And she's saying, you've got a lot of friends. And she said, your friends are very, very valuable to you. But she says, you wouldn't know what to do if you didn't have any friends. I'm going to say you're a little bit like the lady there, you're very much a people type person. You like to have people around you. You like to be able to give people cuddles. You like to have a laugh and a joke. And she says there's nothing wrong with that. I do want to bring this gentleman in. He's only a small man. He's only about 5'5", 5'6", quite rounded gentleman. I've got problems on the left side of my chest, which shows me I've got issues around the heart with this gentleman. He's just coming in to give you a lot of strength and to give you a lot of upliftment. He's also saying as well, as you know, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. So he says all you can do with regards to family is make the most of what you've got. But if he's on about, he's showing us at least 2 links missing on the family side, but he's saying one of them will be back in touch. But he's saying trust and respect has got to be earned, not given. But he says you will make the right choices and you will make the right decisions. And he's also saying it's not your place to apologise. He says you keep trying and you're not taking no notice. But he says you're apologising, it's not you who should be apologising. He says it's him that should be apologising. So he says don't worry about it. But as I say with this gentleman, there's a lot of upliftment, there's a lot of strength, and there's a lot of love coming to you. And I'll leave all that with you and I'll say thank you very much. 5 minutes? Mm-hmm. Right. Can I go to the lady at the back on the left? As you're sitting right.
You're right.
As I'm with you, I've got. She's not related to you, is she? It's all right. I've got your dad, but I think your dad's for your mum. Oh, no, he's not. It's for you.
Okay.
Right. No, it's all right. I've got this lady coming in around you, and she's very, very busy. Very, very busy indeed. She's telling me that you've got some problems with your knees at the minute. Right. Well, she's saying just be aware if they start aching or pulling. It's nothing serious, but she's saying keep on top of it. Keep on top of it. I do feel with this lady as well that I did have a lot of issues before I passed the spirit, but she kept the issues to herself. But I want to say with this lady as well that she did pass the spirit. She's saying, thankfully, in her mind quite quickly. But then she's saying, I wasn't always with it. So I don't know if she was sleeping a lot of the time. But she... No, oh, hang on, I've got 2 of them. It's all right, I've got another lady who's coming in as well. The first lady, she's coming in with a lot of love and a lot of strength for you. The second lady who comes in, I'm not saying she's a bully, but she's saying she knew what she wanted, a bit like you. You know what you want from life. But she's saying at the minute, she says, doors keep, as if doors are slamming in front of you. She's going, don't worry about it. she says, persevere. Persevere. Because she's saying, good things are just around the corner. And she says, you have got a lot to look forward to. I don't know, have you got a son? Or is it a nephew then? A nephew. Because she's saying, you will play a big part around them. Because I've got to say, because you're like outside of the family, if you like, you can see things that perhaps the parents don't see. But they're saying, you will say the right things at the right time. Don't worry about it, it's nothing major, but they're saying you will find the right things at the right time. There is a gentleman coming in for you. He's my height, dark hair. He's got a cardigan on, a shirt and a tie. And this is what he's like. He would always wear a tie. Because he's come out tonight, he's put his tie on. And I do feel this gentleman, he wouldn't go out the house without a tie on. And he's more a grandfather figure than a father figure. And he's just coming in around you. He's busy around you. I'm not saying it's him, but he's making me aware of military connections in the family. I want to say there's naval connections in the family. Now, I know I've had a load of farmers here tonight, but I've got to say I've got some sort of farming or outdoor work around the family as well, going back, so either dad or granddad. But I just feel we used to work on the land. But this gentleman who comes through, I'm getting very hot with this gentleman, which shows me he would have had problems with his blood pressure in later years. It's not something you may know about, but I just feel like I've got blood pressure problems. My mouth's going very dry and I'm getting a sweet taste in my mouth. So that's sometimes, that shows me possibly diabetes as well in the family. But he's saying, yeah, nothing to worry about. He says, you're a strong lady. He says, you know what you want. He's saying, if you want to bring about the changes, there's only you that can do it. But he's saying, go for it. He says, you know what you want and you know where you want to be. And they're all saying, what you want to do is very much achievable. But you need to start the ball rolling. You're a little bit like the lady over there. You don't like coming out of your comfort zone. But he's saying you need to come out of your comfort zone. But a lot of strength, love and support, and I'll leave that one with you. Oh, God, I'm looking, I was coming to you and I don't know. Quickly, Auntie.
Yes.
She's coming in, she says, you need your ears boxing, lad.
Thank you.
She says, and why are you sitting on the fence?
Thank you.
You know? She says, you are right. Yes, we need telling. She says, get on with it.
Thank you.
She's also saying as well, you to come out your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And you're to get on with it.
Yeah.
Right, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. But if you want a third finger left hand, you go for it.
Thank you.
And she says, you'll have everybody's blessings.
Thank you.
And yes, right. Oh, God, my mum's here.
It's all right. She knows most of everything that goes on.
Right. If you've got to up sticks and put them down somewhere else, you've got to do it.
I know what that's about, and it's not home, but it is very similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
But she says,
yeah,
you've got to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do it, you can't complete what you need to do.
Thank you.
So it's all about you moving forward. She's saying also, will you stop wrapping yourself in cotton wool? And will you be more like her?
Oh my crikey.
She says, you always used to be.
Thank you.
So she says, get on with it.
Thank you.
She says, you know what you've got to do and you know what you need to do. So it's all about you moving on, moving forward and doing what's right. I've also got to say, and I know she's listening, Mum will be fine.
Yeah.
Mum's as tough as the old come.
Yeah.
And the lady saying, I might have been tough as old boots. She says, but you're tougher. And she says, keep doing what you're doing. I don't know if Mum's got one, but the lady's telling me you need to get an upholstered riser recliner. Did you?
Yesterday. But it was leather, not upholstered, which is the problem.
No, she's saying upholstered.
Yeah, the problem is because I was saying it's that those upholstered ones are all fuddy-duddy, and I actually commented to her, the person you're talking to, that looks like something out of your living room. I'm not having it in her house. So that's why she's getting a bloody own back.
Right. Whatever you do, do not let him have a tin of furniture polish. Because it's leather, he will spray it when you're not there and he'll leg it. You'll go to sit on it, press the buttons, and you'll end up on the floor and he'll be laughing his socks off. That's why she said get an upholstered one. Her
and it. Cleaning chemicals and me is a bad combination. That you know what we're on about, don't you? Yeah.
So she's just having a laugh with the pair of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
But she does cook. Mum, are you having a lot of headaches recently?
No.
Just be aware, if you start getting headaches, it means you need to get your eyes checked. You need some new glasses. So it's nothing else. It's not your tablets. It's not that you got stress or anything like that. It's just your glasses. Just need to get your eyes checked, and everything will be all right.
I am doing any time now anyway.
Right. So that's what that's all about. Do you live in a bungalow?
Sorry?
Do you live in a bungalow?
No.
She might as bloody well do.
You wear varifocals?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right then. Because what they're saying is you need varifocals, but be careful going up and down the stairs.
That's all right, I've got chairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on it because he'll break it.
Do you know what, grandmother? You can shut up. It was not me that broke it. The battery ran out.
No, you can.
It's already.
It's
already. We were playing with the remote control, and because the battery had run out, it stopped working. It was not my fault.
So he's dropped himself in it now. It was him.
Well, should have bloody told you all anyway.
Why is it I always get into trouble? Right. So there's a lot of love, strength, and support. Samantha, I give that lady's up. Samantha, I want to bring a lady through for you. As this lady comes in, she's telling me mother, but I don't know if it is mother because I don't feel a motherly bond. Would mother-in-law be in spirit? I'm going to go with husband's side of the family, maybe his grandmother, unless it is your side. But this lady's coming through for you with a lot of upliftment and a lot of strength. She's saying, I'm not surprised you're tired because you're burning the candle at both ends. She says, you can't do everything. She says, I know there's 24 hours in a day. She says, but you're supposed to have at least 4 hours sleep in one day and 4 hours sleep in the next day, and they're supposed to join together. She says, not 2 hours and 2 hours. She says, you can't cope with it. So she says, just slow down a little bit. Slow down. She's also on about holidays, and she's saying you need to get away. I'm not saying it's this year, but she says you need to get away. And she's saying a break by the coast or up in the lakes will do you the world of good. And I'm saying how long for? She says, even if it's just a weekend, she's just a break away. I'm being told something, I don't know what, oh God, okay. They're on about Saffron Walden. I don't know if you've got any connections to Saffron Walden or not. All I know is it's off the M11. Right, so, well, don't worry about it. But what this lady's coming in, she's saying there is a lot of changes going on around you at the minute, and there's lots of changes going on around hubby as well at the minute. But she's saying it will all work itself out. It will all work itself out. She's also saying as well, keep up the writing and do not be embarrassed to bring them here. People will not laugh. And like mediums always say, if it hits one person, you've done your job. And that's all that matters. And she says, just keep up the work and keep going for it. And a lot of love, strength, and I'll leave all that one with you. I'll quickly get to the lady there because I want to bring the gentleman in that stood behind you. He's quite a stocky looking gentleman as he comes in. He's telling me, you take me as you find me. He's like, I've got a really strong smell of cigarettes around him as well, because he's telling me in his younger days, and he's sort of 30s, he'd be on sort of 40 a day. Well, he's telling me he was supposed to have stopped, but he used to have a crafty one every now and then. But he comes in around you because what he's saying is, you never ask for anything, but you're always there for everybody else. He says, sometimes we need to put ourselves at the top of the tree. He says, but your problem is, if you do something for yourself, you start to feel guilty. And he says, don't. He says, a little treat now and then will do you the world of good. And it will do you the world of good. There is a lady, she's very tentatively coming in. I want to say this lady passed the spirit very quickly and quite suddenly. And as she comes in, I don't know what it is with this lady. She wants me to say to you that she loves you and she's always loved you, but she didn't always show it. And she's sorry for that. I do feel with this lady, she says, I've got a lot of apologising to do. And she says, I can't take no credit for the way that you turned out because you set your own principles. And you're here today because of you, your will and your determination. But she wants you to know how proud of you she is. She says, I've always been proud of you, but I've never always been able to show it. There is another lady, I'm being told, Auntie, only a very small lady, 5 foot, maybe 5'1". She's got such a lovely smile on her face. And she just wants to come in and put her arms around you and just say everything's going to be all right, my girl. She says, you've got a lot to look forward to. Life's been cruel to you, but you've got some good friends around you who will help you and support you. And right, it's easy to say, but she's saying, forget the past. The past is in the past. She says, look to the future, because you've got a lot to look forward to. I don't know what she's on about, but she's saying you won't be on your own. So I don't know if you've got a partner or not at the minute, but she's saying there'll always be people there for you, and you won't be on your own. So a great deal of strength, a lot of upliftment. I'm going to stop purely because I'm getting very, very tearful, and I don't want to burst out crying. But that's what this lady's making me feel. I'm feeling it from the heart for you. So much love, so much upliftment, and a great deal of strength. And I'll leave all that with you and say thank you very much. I'm sorry I've gone over. I hope you all enjoyed the evening. Please continue to support Nick and his mum and Samantha, Barbara, Barry. Please continue to support them because they need your support. Those of you online, if you enjoyed it, please come back next week. If you live local, pop in. We don't bite. Well, we might, but just pop in and say hi. Be lovely to see you all. Thank you all. I'll pass you back to Nick.
Bless you.
Let's face it, if you're gonna overrun, that's the blooming way to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, John Ennis and his friends and helpers. I find it appropriate, firstly, to three things really. Firstly, to apologise for buggering off. Small emergency, had to sort it out, but it's dealt with. Thank you very much. Secondly, Susan, my nostrils are not the Black Wall Tunnel. Thank you very much. Comment on there. I thought my nose was the Black Wall Tunnel. How very gay. But as always, I do like, if I get any information from the medium serving us, I do like to share a few small pointers and details, because I find it only fair that you guys get to know something funny, because it usually is, especially when my grandmother gets with him. See, the thing is, she introduced herself as Auntie, but my grandmother, towards the end of her life, kept ringing us up, leaving answer phone messages saying, "It's your Aunt Sally," to her own son, to her own daughter, to her own grandson, to her own granddaughter. So, you know, now the thing was, they didn't always get on, but she did say something to that lady over there that was quite nice once, and she kind of mirrored it again today, which was lovely. We've been wondering if those two have got together up there, and now we've got the evidence. Now, the chair, we obviously reveal. Mum did go and get a new recliner. It was a very good recliner, and we did look at the fabric ones, and I did take the pee, of course, and I get in trouble for that. However, I've got a long history with my grandmother regarding cleaning products. I have been seen to polish the floor with furniture polish from time to time. I have been seen to make such a mess with black gloss paint of myself and the whole house that they've had to get Terps on me. And there was one time, not in band camp, but this one time, where I decided to help my grandmother out with her cleaning regime by doing the shake and vac with a huge box of Daz washing powder. So she does like winding me up about cleaning products. So thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
And yes, I'm well aware that things must change, and so must I. But don't worry, my friends. It's not talking about this place. It's not talking about Littleport, my home. So don't worry, I ain't going nowhere. However, he was also right about it. So I'll explain to him afterwards, but I have to keep that one secret. For now. But friends, an absolute wonderful, wonderful demonstration of mediumship. Do you want to save it for next week, or do you want to do it now? Okay. The second reading's being reserved for next week, because I think she's done a wonderful job putting up with me womping around all over the place. Give it up for our technical director for the evening, standing, Samantha. And of course, everyone at home will be most grateful for her presence, making sure that John, wherever he goes, is on the camera. Our camera person, Mandy, thank you very much. Now, I was talking earlier about dad jokes, you know. What's got in common, there's two things that got something in common. Someone who can stand in at the last minute, and a huge place of upliftment, enjoyment and partying. Well, if you need someone to stand in on the chair, Barbie can. But thank you for stepping up, and because I do not like leaving the chair empty. But sometimes needs must, and there's always somebody who will be prepared to step forward. Thank you for doing that. Little bit about spiritualism and its technical behind the scenes stuff. There's only two things that really, really matter the most. The medium is looked after by tea, coffee, biscuits, and the chair, and that the tea doesn't taste like gnat's piss. That's all that really, really matters. Which is why when I first joined the Spiritualist Church, the first week I was highly honoured by being asked to make the tea. The second week, they invited me to not make the tea ever again. So do something less important and be the treasurer. So that's what they did. An absolute true story. Absolute true story. There was do you remember Peter Spillett?
Yeah.
Peter Spillett. We used to call him Teabag for a reason. The reason we called him Teabag is because he served us that first week. From then on, for 5 years when he carried on serving us, because there was no such thing as the internet really then, it was all by letter and telephone, you know, those where people actually communicate without sniping at each other. But you never got dancing cats on that, I don't know. Or the shirtless men. But he would reply to his invitation to serve us by attaching with a paperclip a fresh, unused tea bag to the letter so that Nick could make a decent cup of tea. That happened in 1998, and I have not lived it down since. But friends, the biggest and final thank you, of course, is to all of you for coming along, to everyone at home for watching and joining in, for taking part, for wondering where I've disappeared to, and comparing my nostrils to the Black Wall Tunnel. Thank you, and God bless you. Friends, let us close this service in prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends and unite under your banner of love and hope and friendship, and of course, upliftment. We thank you for the opportunity to witness the truth and the proof that life is indeed eternal. And I ask that a blessing be placed on each person here present, all those watching at home and all those that will watch, and all of their friends and families that they represent, that your banner of love might spread across the world in a wonderful ray of sunshine and joy. And so, until we meet again, which will be in your name, amen. So one last time, a big thank you to Rev John Ennis and guides. Now, you might have noticed we're a bit different in layout this week for those that have seen it before. I'm actually going to bring the raffle prizes up to the front of the table. At least this week we won't be giving away table wipes and hand sanitizer as a raffle prize. So there we go. And of course there is a bully special prize as ever waiting. So it is now over to Hannah.
It's 879.
879. 87. Oh, Mama, what do you want? The what? Well, no, I'll be picking her up when I go around after work in the afternoon.
Next is the 857.
857.
That's me.
Hey, what you having?
Oh, this one.
Yeah. So we're figuring between one and
881.
881. There we go. There is bouquet and marmalade. There is gingerbread mini hearts. That is the nothing like melts. And then there's chunky biscuits.
Can I bought biscuits, I'll get to the marmalade. Thank you.
Who's next, girl?
868.
868. There is the gingerbread mini melts, and there is chunky biscuits. Yeah, I knew you'd understand. You know, something about spending time in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and Come on, my lady, who's next?
815.
815. Hey! You get ginger out. Now. What time is it, my lovely?
Don't Nick.
Oh. Bully special prize.
838.
Well, I never.
Going to Linda.
Right, you are in charge. I've never seen it happen, but she actually pulled her own number for Bully special prize, so she gets to decide whether she keeps it. There's nothing in this game for two in a bed, so she is giving it to who she wants to have it for a change.
Lovely. Lovely.
I said Linda was going to get it.
So,
This is the thing. Like weeks and weeks and weeks she's been saying, I want this person to have that one, and they've pulled it out, the ticket's pulled out. I want Linda to have it. This was at the beginning of the service. She gets it so she can give it. Wonderful. Great medium, great healer. Friends, the time has come to close this service, but the kitchen is, of course, available for all of your sustenance and needs. And one last round, the lovely John Ennis. Thank you very much, my friend. To all of you, to lovely to my camera lady who's just moved it back in the right direction. Good night. May the peace and the great spirit go with you all. But until next week, good night. God bless. Good God, and hit it. No. That's not. You did it. That's not.